Welcome to the movie vault.
Hey.
I'm Ben.
I'm Zach.
Hello, I'm Jonathan. Yay, woohoo. Yeah, y'all got me, whether you want me or not.
We don't.
Okay, I'll leave then.
Wait. I'm gonna call an audible. One more sound check.
I'm always out of the loop.
All right.
Sorts of things.
All right. Everyone speak it directly into the mic.
I'm going to speak at a somewhat normal volume.
Okay, yeah. That's much better
Hallelujah.
in terms of the levels.
Hallelujah.
Because I turned the gain up is what happened.
Hallelujah.
Your sleep deprivation, man.
No, it is.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to the movie vault. I'm Ben.
I'm Zach.
Hello, I'm Jonathan.
And I made hand motions that nobody could see it, but they were really cool.
I really appreciate the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And I'm depressed today, so I'm just going to talk like this.
Yeah.
Zach's just...
Everything about your body language says, I don't want to be here. Except for, like, neck up, there's, like, there's no movement below. It's just...
Wait, so neck up, I'm good. It's like my neck is really showing how happy I am.
It's the only part of you that is actually, like hey guys.
I got like a vein popping out or something that's kind of like, ooh, yeah. It shows
excited to be here.
Yeah. Like I can't hold it in. Like I'm trying my hardest to not move, but there's just this one vein in my neck.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, I think it has mostly to do with the fact that you actually have to move your head to look at Ben and me. So therefore there's movement going on, whereas...
No, that's true. I've never had to do that. I never had to move my head. So it actually, in school, you just keep your head forward. And if you look at other people, nobody does that. Nobody makes eye contact in college. That's what happened.
Yeah.
You know?
You see, I didn't have this experience. I was homeschooled. So this is really a learning experience.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look to the left, you see food in the kitchen. To the right, you see poop in the toilet, you know?
That's a good point.
How did you know how my house was laid out?
Well,
it's like a line. Like there's a table in the middle, bathroom on one side, kitchen on the other side.
Man's been studying the blueprint for years.
The table turns
the water
into a bed
right there.
So you don't all you have to do is flip the table and it's just a bed. And so
sometimes you get it mixed up and you get crumbs in your bed every once in a while.
Yeah, it's like all of this stuff.
It happens. You know?
Sometimes you sleep on your roast beef or something.
That is true. That's how that works.
Yep.
I mean that's how my house is laid out. It's every homeschool family.
Yeah.
That's how their house is laid out. It's a little known fact, but it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in a mansion.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great for you.
Yeah, yep. Anyway.
Why aren't we recording there, huh?
I mean, I just wanted to say
Want to
it.
slum it down with us? Just like, ugh.
No.
These people, these peasants, I'll hang out with them for a
I
minute.
have to bathe in hand sanitizer after.
Yeah, you're like, I can't get this. I imagine you talking like Stewie from Family Guy.
Yeah, I wish I could do an accent, but I love Stewie so much.
Stewie.
Stewie.
I don't know why I said his name as the like impression. Why would you say his own name?
Zach.
That's like having a really fantastic, like, Tom Hanks impression, but all you can say is Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Well, imagine you go to like a stand-up comedy club and you're like, I'm an impressionist, and then like the whole night you do impressions of celebrities, but the only thing you say is their name.
Meryl Streep.
You see, I'm not even going to try.
Keanu Reeves. All right.
Kanye
All right, get ready for. You're like, all right. Introducing this. Is the first one I'm going to do is Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Okay, here we go. Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
No, you see, hold on. We have to clarify here. Would the words "The Rock" be a part of it, since that's just part of the nickname? His name is just Dwayne Johnson.
You have to do Dwayne the Rock because otherwise you'd get confused with the other Dwayne Johnson.
I thought that was his middle name.
That's true too.
The Rock. It was Hawaiian, and then he changed it to The Rock.
This is really great lore. I'm gonna have to write this down for my D&D campaign.
You're gonna have to go on to Dwayne the Rock Johnson.wiki.fandom.
I gotta go to the official Dwayne the Rock Johnson YouTube channel.
It's like him
gotta
and
really look at everything there.
it's like Dwayne the Rock and like Betty White fan fiction.
I don't want to go down that avenue.
I don't know.
Do you know what
we can go down that avenue later. Not right now.
Do you know what movie Dwayne the Rock Johnson was in?
I mean, there's a lot of movies.
Not Lightyear. That's not. He wasn't in that movie.
Thank you for segueing over to
and
our
now
movie.
we're segueing over to the movie with the most smooth transition.
Yeah.
So starring Chris Evans, Keke Palmer, Taika Waititi, Josh Brolin's brother, James. I actually don't know whether it's his brother, but I just made that up. And with a budget of $200 million and a box office of only 156 so far. Lightyear, dun dun dun, coming from the Toy Story franchise.
No, really?
So basically the movie is about Buzz Lightyear, but no, not what you're thinking. It's not a spin-off of Toy Story. It's the likeness of the movie that Andy watched that the Buzz Lightyear toy was based off of. That's the movie that we got.
Whose idea was that?
I will say, I would rather have that than just, it's just a Lightyear movie. Don't think about it too much. I would rather have like this cheesy connection that only kind of works.
Okay.
Than nothing at all.
Okay, here's my favorite review of Lightyear. It's by Joel Dusher on Letterboxd. He says, in 1995, this was Andy's favorite movie. In 1995, Andy was a stupid, dumb, effing idiot loser kid who loved a bad movie. 2 stars. So,
yeah. Stupid Andy liked Lightyear instead of Star Wars.
Is that a Google review or something?
My review of Lightyear on Letterboxd, follow me at Titanium Vulture. Mid-year, 2.5 stars.
Yeah.
So
hold on, quick question. With that review thing, is it like out of 5 or is that out of 10?
it's out of 5.
Okay, because
that's why I called it.
Middling review, or he hates.
That's why I called it mid-year, because it was like an average movie. So
why didn't you say light 6 months?
I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I got 1 like on Letterboxd by somebody I didn't know, so that means that I must have achieved some sort of comic status on Letterboxd.
Yeah. Now I respectfully agree with Ben. I do. Ben and I don't agree all the time, but I like it when we do agree. It's the only thing that unites us. The 3 things that we agree on. It's like food and I don't know. But Jonathan, I know you have a different take on this movie. What is your take?
It's not good, but it's very fun and I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good take.
I can look at it and I can say that objectively speaking, Pixar has done so much better.
Yeah.
But I can also say, I had fun.
Yeah.
If I was bored one day and I had like a bowl of microwave popcorn, I'd watch it again. Why not?
Yeah, but I always have to say, like, don't let my narcissism and nepotism.
Zach's nepotism is really influencing him.
Negativity.
Zach's nihilism really gets in the way sometimes.
My nihilism, nepotism, existentialism, all of that. Don't let that get into your head because I'm just a pessimist in general.
That is true.
So I think that
Zach would be like, I love this movie. 6 out of 10 or something like that. That would be a good
life-changing experience.
1
2
star.
stars.
My favorite movie, 6 out of 10. I think my favorite movie on Letterboxd is like a 7 out of 10. I do. I just don't think that. I think we got to keep like
the absolute all-time peak of cinema.
That must mean that your view of like movies is that like you haven't achieved the point that you could rate something 10 out of 10.
No,
like we haven't gotten there yet.
I want to make a movie. That's why.
So
hold on. We can get into a whole discussion here about movie rating schemes, but do you rate a movie relative to other movies or relative to like other types of entertainment as well?
My subjective, stupid experience that I had.
Okay.
Just like it's the most. You can't base it on anything.
I wasn't sure if it was relative to
No.
It was just like, that feels like a maybe.
I try to keep them relatively like similar so that like if I do like have a better subjective experience with a movie, I'll rank it higher.
Fair.
That's the only way you can kind of do it in an orderly way. Almost.
Yeah, that's true. Because there's so many things that can once you start reading other people's opinions. And if you're somebody who's very impressionable like me, you can really have that person's. You could be like, man, maybe I did really like that movie, like, or maybe I did really not like that movie.
Yeah. And the thing is, I find for me, it's really easy to sway my opinion more negatively upon reading reviews. It's really hard to sway my opinion positively if I didn't like a movie.
Okay,
it's like everyone loves this, but it was trash, man.
No, I think I experienced the same thing.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to convince if a movie's bad, I will always think it's bad. I still do that with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Nobody's going to convince me no matter. But then there's a lot of movies.
Critics rave about it.
There's a lot of movies that I loved at first that people have convinced me over time, but I can't think of a lot that people have convinced me it's great.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think it's just
there are a few movies that have like grown on me, but they're not like they grew on me from like being like a 1-star to a 4-star or something like that.
I've had a lot of movies. Well, not a lot. I've had
maybe The House That Jack Built grew on me.
Yeah.
But that was only because it was so dark. Like sometimes movies are so dark, and then it's like leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and then like you think about it and you're like, well, it was really dark, but it was still a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
And you forget about
one of those better upon reflection type movies.
Yeah, like if you watch it again, you'll probably still leave a bad taste in your mouth, but somehow you'll be like, well, it was still somewhat good.
I have a handful of movies where for some inexplicable reason, I loved it so much more on the second time through, and I don't know why. But it's like, first time through, it was like, it was an alright movie. And then second time through, it was like, oh yeah, I love it. Like, Into the Spider-Verse was one of those movies where first time around I actually didn't like it.
Interesting.
And then I watched it again and I was like, what was I thinking last time? Like, what? This is a good movie.
No, I agree with you, Jay Young. I think that when it's a movie about that has like a big twist at the end, and you don't notice all the clues going up to it, and then you rewatch it, and then you start to notice all these things. Like this is a TV show. I watched Stranger Things, and I saw the things that was leading up to the newest season that I'd never noticed when I watched it originally, and it makes it so much more enjoyable. So I think that's the only way when you notice more things on rewatch.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But getting back to Lightyear.
Oh, yeah.
Briefly talking about the synopsis of this movie. Buzz Lightyear is a space ranger at Star Command. His best friend is another pilot. They crash on a planet and can't get out. They build a whole city around the planet. Buzz Lightyear spends his whole life trying to escape into a la Interstellar. And,
Allah?
Yeah, Allah. Like...
Oh, Allah.
Allah. Like...
Sorry, continue.
Not lowercase Allah.
Sorry, continue.
and then he finally, when he finally achieves it, I forget what. Anyway, I forget what happened.
This is a fantastic synopsis, man. Bravo.
Well, thanks for putting more pressure on me, John. Than I appreciate.
No. Let me add more on. You know, since you really thanked me for it, I'll put a little.
No. So with every test, 4 more years passes on the planet. So he's aging at a slower rate than everyone else, and the pilot lady that he was with, she has a family, and the family grows up, and then she dies, and then he finally succeeds, but it's after she dies. And when he gets back, he finds out the planet is being attacked by robots, and he has to team up with this ragtag group of people who have no experience and are all rookies. And one of them is, I wish I remembered people's names.
Granddaughter.
But the granddaughter, Izzy Hawthorne. And then there's also Socks, who's the best part of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And Mo Morrison, who's played by Taika Waititi, who's the second best part of the movie.
That's more or less just on the basis, though, that it's played by Taika Waititi.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe he just reminds me of Korg too much.
His character wasn't he wasn't an amazing character in my opinion, but I like Taika Waititi so much that he stuck out.
Yeah. It's like, he's so likable, I'll let it pass.
So, I think actually sorry, that was the end, right? I kind of
No.
We haven't even gotten to Zurg yet, man.
So, wait, you're right.
Yeah, so he gets attacked. They get attacked by these robots. They find out the robots are attached to the ship run by this guy named Zurg. And then Buzz Lightyear, through a series of multiple events, finds his way up face to face with Zurg, where he finds out that he is Zurg. So, like, somehow there's this interstellar moment in the movie where they, like, split into, like, 2 realities, and, like, one went way ahead in time, and the other, now they're, like, meeting. And Zurg wants to, what is his goal?
I'm drawing.
Didn't he want to stop that? Didn't he want to stop his original mistake?
Yeah. The original thing where it's like at the beginning of the movie where he was
doesn't rely on his team,
pulling up and he hit the edge of the cliff.
Oh yeah, he uses
that grounded all of them
because he can go backwards in time with the crystal that he has.
Yeah,
so he wants the
crystal thingamajig. It's a plot MacGuffin for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't really explain how any of the sci-fi stuff works in this movie.
Which is fine enough. It's a kid.
I mean, it doesn't have to be Interstellar. It's obviously ripping off Interstellar, but it doesn't have to be Interstellar.
Oh, it is. That's where the plot was. The plot was Interstellar.
Yeah.
So basically, what we're learning here is that Lightyear is just a children's movie version of Interstellar.
Yes, essentially.
So if you are a parent and your child really wants to watch Interstellar, but you're not sure if they're ready for that yet, have them watch Lightyear.
Because they might not be ready to see that emotional scene where Matthew McConaughey's like crying and like I forget what he said.
Spoiler, Ben.
Yeah. I don't know what happens, but something happens.
Are you saying the actor acts and is emotional?
I thought this was never mind.
It's never been seen. So anyway, he ends up defeating Zurg. I forget exactly how. It was not very memorable. And then they all learn a lesson that if they work together, it'll be great, and that life on this planet isn't so bad.
I would argue that's not the lesson.
Is that not the lesson?
I mean, it is kind of the lesson. I feel like there was a more important takeaway from there, though.
Go ahead.
So the fact that Lightyear, despite the fact that he didn't have a life on that planet, despite the fact that he didn't really have that deep a connection to the planet, basically was able to look on everything and basically say that even though I'm not the biggest fan of it, I don't have the right to remove everyone else's lives, basically start that over. They had a life there just because I didn't.
Question.
Yes.
How does this work like from a, like, is he actually removing them from reality?
My understanding is that it's basically reset back to the...
Yeah, he would. So he even says, one of his lines is, if you do this, then what happens to Izzy? What happens to what's-her-face's family?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, they wouldn't even know because they wouldn't have existed or something.
Yeah.
And obviously, we can't understand it, but I get what they're saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Where it's like... I do like that theme of, like, Lightyear's like, I'm not much of a fan, and he doesn't actually say that, but I can kind of... that's the gist I was getting. But it's like, but I don't have the right to do that.
Yeah.
That's not my decision to make.
I guess you're right. That is kind of the deepest. They do learn about teamwork and stuff, but that's more of the, like, underlying thing, because he's very selfish in wanting to
get
achieve
everyone
his
off
mission.
When everyone
he's
else
like
is decently happy being there at that point. They've adjusted.
He hasn't moved on.
Yeah.
It's like the one line from Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, this movie I definitely have seen yet.
Where one character says to another character, "You have to move on." It's not really a spoiler.
That's specifically from Top Gun, or like...
It is actually.
Let's just pull up a list real quick. How many movies does that appear in? Like, I don't know.
have to move on.
It's specifically from Top
I feel
Gun
like that was
Maverick.
in Star Wars. That's been in the MCU, I think.
Pretty sure my mom said that about my Legos when I was younger, too. Anyway.
I was upset that I destroyed all my Legos. Like, there's that period of your life where you just want to kill all your Lego sets and throw them into a big bin, and then that phase ends and you're just really sad because you can never put them back together.
Unless you kept the instructions.
Well, you can, but then there's parts that just disappear.
You see,
so then you're missing like 2 pieces of a set.
You see, I had that phase, but as I was going through it, I also got more Lego sets that I kept intact. So it really wasn't me getting rid of them. It was just swapping them out for new ones.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think, in my opinion, if this is a 5 out of 10 stars for me, whatever, the 5 stars that I gave it are from, 1, the creativity of the plot, and we can start there. I really did enjoy when Lightyear was first announced. I was like, okay, they're going to do a Space Ranger story. You know, Buzz traveling through space, pulling over people, speeding on the space highway. I don't know, but he's like, I don't know what they do, or space parks, Space Ranger. Like, what does a ranger do?
Uber speed. This is specifically a hyper speed lane.
Yeah, or like, I don't know. I don't even know what kind of alien monsters.
This didn't really describe what a Space Ranger did from Toy Story, or what a Zurg is, or anything.
No, but they do in this movie. They explain what Zurg is. But the creativity is plot. So he's like, actually, it's a time travel movie, which I wasn't expecting, and I wasn't really not really always excited for time travel movies now just because they're done so much. And then especially with another universe happening, we've already had like the last three
There's like every movie has to be about like a multiverse or multiple variations of universes. Like we already had Donnie Darko in 2001. We don't really need tangential universes anymore.
Yeah, but like with the last three, we've done like Doctor Strange and Everything All Over at Once.
Yeah.
Whatever that's called.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
I mean, wait, no, that wasn't one. But it's just, but this was kind of, I think it was okay. And this movie was good. Yeah. I liked the idea of the interstellar thing, but just doing it over and over and him choosing to do it. I thought that was good. The only thing, so I listened to this on another podcast. I can't remember. So cite to whatever. That this movie felt like a sequel movie and not an origin story. And I think that's true just because he's already a well-developed space ranger. He already's gone through a lot. He's pretty aged. And he's, at the end, he's ready to, I don't know, like start a new space force.
Maybe the movie that Andy watched was like the second movie in the series. Have you considered that?
Like the equivalent of watching Empire before New Hope.
like as a kid, you might be like, I like Star Wars, the Attack of the Clones. Like that's and you just watch Star Wars Attack of the Clones, you don't ever watch the other two.
Or like when you ask a kid, did you watch Star Wars? Yeah, I love Kylo Ren and Rey and BB-8 and whatever.
And then you slap the kid.
No, I do. I definitely do. I don't for legal reasons, but I do for this podcast. But yeah.
Slapping was so 2 years ago. I drop kicked that child.
What comes next? Chainsaw. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Good movie.
Yeah.
3.5 out of 5.
Oh, really?
On Letterboxd.
Okay. The new one or the old one?
The old one. The
original
one.
Okay, good. Yeah. But yeah, I think that was a strong suit, really. Just the fact that they're on a planet, they're stranded, and they're not really going back. Like the story's really isolated to like 6 or 7 characters in the entire movie.
Yeah. We're kind of jumping around here a little bit, so pardon me. But my primary complaint with the plot is that it retcons in Toy Story 2 Zurg being Buzz's father.
I was just thinking of that.
That's like my only genuine complaint with regards to the plot, because again, I still found it fun. It's like, but it ruined the canon.
Do you think they had to do that because if they had it just be like, you're too much expecting him to just be like, Buzz, I'm your father. Like everybody would be like, oh, duh. Like that's from Toy Story 2.
Well, you see,
or Star Wars.
Well, you see, I completely
yeah, or Star Wars.
Okay, listen, I completely forgot that in the canon, Zurg was Buzz's father until they had that reveal where it's like old looking Buzz and normal Buzz said, Dad? Mm-hmm. And then I remembered that whole plot line. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it being himself it threw me off a little bit, especially since they make that whole thing in the last 9 or 10 minutes of the movie.
Well, and also there's no real build up to the idea that, I mean, obviously the idea is like, oh yeah, forward time travel, kind of. That's not really how it works, but whatever. They don't really build up to there even being the remotest possibility of like, maybe you could go backwards.
Yeah, with the crystal, right?
Yeah, it's like, that's not even, I don't think, was it even like considered a possibility at any point prior in that?
I don't think so, because Buzz would have jumped on that.
It's not really, it's a twist in the weakest sense, because it's like, I think a good twist to me is one where it's like the clues are there and you can put them together, but on a first viewing, most likely you won't, but you can.
Yeah, it's like...
Whereas this had nothing.
Think about the most famous twists in movie history. We all know them. I won't mention them because it might ruin the twist.
I see dead people. That's a good one.
That is a good one. And they all have like obvious moments, seem like really obvious moments that there is going to be a twist, but like they're actually not obvious. But like if you watch it a second time, you'd be like, how could I have been so stupid? Yeah. I don't know how people do that.
I will say, there was no build up for that. There is the possibility that perhaps one of the Zurg bot interactions with Buzz might have potentially hinted at something, but
I suppose you're right.
Well, and the fact that Zurg is Buzz. Like, that's the word for Buzz that the robots are saying.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah, they're like, they can't say Buzz, so they just say Zurg.
Yeah, it's like...
so dumb.
They're both 4-letter names, and both of them share 2 letters.
No, this is
U and Z.
This is what I thought. You can have a robot cat in this movie literally discover how to fix this crystal that can make hyperspeed travel possible, but you can't have a robot say buzz. Like, what's wrong with the?
That's the. I would love to have been in the writers' room when they came up with that idea. It would have been a late night at Pixar, and they were trying to figure out why he was called Zurg.
No, you know that wasn't in the writing room. That was when the script was coming out, and they were writing specific lines. They're like, Zurg. We should call that Buzz because they both have Z's in them. You know, they're like, genius. You should work at Pixar. And that's what they did.
Meet the guy who only wrote one line in Disney's Pixar's Lightyear. It was the line where he said the robots they don't know how to say Buzz, they just say Zurg.
This man is a genius.
Yeah.
Or woman or whoever it was.
I don't know, but whatever, they should be fired. And I think that the whole dad thing or whatever, him it being himself, I remember like, oh, this movie only has 10 minutes. What's going to happen, right? There's going to be a big fight. It's going to be him versus Zurg, whatever. Is it Zurg or Zurg? Zurg. Okay. It's like GIF or GIF.
Hard G.
Okay. Ooh. But
listen, man, you don't want to get it wrong. The Toy Story fans, those 6-year-olds will bite your ankles, man.
Oh man, I'm ready to drop kick or chainsaw. But it was like so fast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was so fast. I just watched it today, so maybe I'm just a little annoyed about it.
I don't even remember what happened in the movie.
No, but there's literally 10 minutes left in the movie. By the way, perfect length of a movie, an hour and a half. But it goes...
Was it? No, I thought it was a little bit longer.
Nope, an hour and a half. Now it was like an hour and 38 minutes.
I didn't really pay too much
attention. I guess you're probably right.
But so I guess an hour and 40 almost. But and it literally shoehorns this thing right in, and it kind of frustrated me just because it probably wasn't needed. You don't need a big Zurg reveal. You just kind of need to...
Yeah, you're right. You didn't really...
Also...
I think it maybe add the interesting part was it was like it went into the weird territory of like there's 2 different buzzes and how that works. But like kids don't need that.
They're like, this Infinity War and Endgame stuff is really good. We should do that.
I would have preferred, I think personally, the stereotypical evil villain monologue where we never find out who Zurg is. But Zurg brings Lightyear into this big chamber where he explains his plan in full detail. As stereotypical and as cliche as it is, I think I almost would have preferred that. Because then we keep the mystery of who exactly Zurg is. Also, the voice modulator on Zurg is super intimidating. And I love it.
Yeah, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that on the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, this is a little tangent. I think I would be that villain. I think I would be so cocky when I finally catch the guy I've been going after that. I'd be like, I have to explain to you exactly what I did because I'm so excited.
Well, I'm like I'm so narcissistic that like I won't have the same satisfaction if I don't explain to you exactly how I.
Let me tell you exactly how I manipulated you before I kill you, giving you a chance to combat me. And I think people are like, that's so cliche, that's so dumb. Why would they do that? I'm like, no, I think I would do that.
I poured years of my life into this. You can't expect me to not leap at the opportunity to explain.
Villains are people too.
Yeah.
They need to talk it out. They need to talk about what they've been doing the past.
They've been hiding it and keeping it in. They've been keeping all of that inside of them.
Everything y'all are talking about is exactly how I feel when I'm like doing a D&D campaign and someone makes a choice that completely shoves the story in an entirely different direction. It's like, I planned for a whole town for y'all to go to and you didn't.
I can't relate, but that sounds nice.
Anywho,
so I can't play with that much power. I would be a pauper in that game. I don't know what that means, but
so
yeah. Anywho,
do you know what stuff got damaged in this movie? Spaceships, homes,
our hearts,
Buzz Lightyear's heart,
Ben's heart.
Oh. Do you know what can be insured out of all of those things? Homes.
Yes.
That's the only thing of all the things I listed. Well,
you can't get insurance for anything else.
Hedman Anglin Agency is known to save people money on auto, home, and business insurance. And they would love to help save you money. They would love nothing more than to help save
nothing more. Not even their own children or families.
Yes. And we would love for you to give them a call because like obviously they care the most about insurance of anybody I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
And so call them at 614-486-7300.
That's 614-486-7300.
And tell them that Zurg and Buzz Lightyear sent you.
I'll be Buzz. Oh, wait, then you would be too, apparently.
Yeah. Wait.
So who am I?
What if we're just different versions of ourselves? And
you and I, or are you talking about someone else?
I don't know. I don't know. What if I just watched the movie Videodrome, which was like a really super weird movie? Don't watch it if you don't like body.
I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it existed. So now I'm gonna make
Jonathan and I are okay. We won't watch it, Ben. We're good.
If you don't like body horror, then don't watch it. But
I'm indifferent to the subject.
I'm actually kind of intrigued now.
So essentially, the guy gets these hallucinations. And he doesn't know like what's real and what's fake because of Videodrome. And so I was thinking, what if like my whole life is just like that? Like it's just hallucinations.
Like the Truman Show?
Which is
I was just about to say, it's a more complicated version of the Truman Show.
Yeah, or the Truman, no, it's not really the Truman Show because that's like a fake world that somebody else created for you. But
you're saying drones like from Spider-Man?
It's more like the Matrix, but like more abstract.
Like Spider-Man, where they have the drones make-believe world.
No, it's like more abstract than that because it's from your own head. Hallucinations are like from your own mind, your own imagination.
Oh, so it's literally the cause is hallucinations, not drones.
No. Videodrome. Different. Drome. Oh, I see.
Man, you gotta enunciate better.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a completely unnecessary reference.
Yeah. Gotta love when we talk about a different movie and we're talking about a movie.
I love when Ben makes unnecessary references that I can't relate to because I always learn something random that I'm never going to use, but it's good to have, you know?
That's true.
I've got knowledge that's miles wide, but maybe half a centimeter deep.
That's the best description of me. Ever.
No, Ben, you're smart.
Well, sometimes.
You said that while looking at me. I really appreciate that. It's like, Ben, you couldn't make eye contact and lie to him.
It's really hard for me to make eye contact when I compliment him. Ben, you're smart.
Ben, you're the stupid idiot Andy in 1995. And he can look you straight in the eyes when he's cutting you down. It's like a sword straight into your eyeballs.
I know. Good thing Andy went to college. Like Toy Story 3 was good for him.
That's true.
You know he was wearing Jesse's hat, by the way. It was a female cowboy's hat.
Really?
Yeah, he wears the red hat. Remember?
Vaguely.
Yeah. When he rides his little stupid dog, Buster.
Thank you for bringing up the name. I was about to bite your ankles because you just said stupid dog. But now that you've said Buster, we're all good.
You have a close connection with this animated dog, I see.
Speaking of animation, I wanted to go through what Jonathan thought of the animation as our resident animation expert.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We did a very good job of introducing the fact that I'm majoring in animation.
Yes. So the reason we had Jonathan on was not just because of his stellar wit, his impressive vocabulary,
his good looks,
his articulate and lovely
his bulging
tone,
muscles, his glistening eyes.
But it was also because
It's because I'm rich.
He's our new sponsor.
He's also donating money to the podcast, so we kind of had to have him on.
I'm subtly influencing how this review goes. Yippee!
With all that said, what do you think of the animation quality and what were some of the more fine details that you saw in this movie?
Oh boy, y'all ain't gonna be able to get me to shut up. Okay. So, I mean, it's obviously Pixar, so I mean, it's gonna be pretty good no matter what. The big thing that kind of sells a lot of Lightyear's believability as far as a character versus Lightyear the toy in the Toy Story movies is I was kind of nerding out over about this earlier before we even started the podcast, but the way that his armor moves. So basically, obviously in the Toy Story movies, that's just a plastic piece. So, you know, the movement there is very limited. It's very restricted. Whereas in Lightyear, because it's plates of armor and whatnot, the way it has follow through movement, which if you know animation, you'll go, oh yes, I know what that is. If you don't, I'm sorry, but
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, why are you apologizing?
Because I don't know.
Well, no, I was apologizing to you.
We can both apologize.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All right. Anyway, basically, follow through is the idea that even though the force of movement has stopped, say you're moving an arm, you got a gauntlet on, the object will keep its inertia and will continue to kind of shuffle around and move, especially if there's any gap or air or whatever. They did that with Lightyear's armor throughout the entire movie. Not a single soul eye I've seen has pointed out. And it is lovely that they did that because there's a chance they could have simulated that. That might have been the easier route, but I'm willing to bet that because it's Pixar, they hand animated all of the inertia on all of Buzz Lightyear's pieces of armor. And I might be wrong about that. It might just be simulation, in which case it was like type in a few parameters, hit click, hit enter. But I'm going to choose to believe it was hand animated because that is some serious dedication.
No, I think it's great. I think we should all have something that we choose to believe in.
Yeah.
Even if it's not true.
Yeah. But, I mean, beyond that, I mean, it's Pixar's usually, stellar quality. It's got great materials throughout. Got usual set of very high quality animation. Unless you're really looking for it, and even if you are, I don't think you can even... I don't particularly imagine there's any clipping going on where meshes, different bits of geometry clip into each other. It's all around very, very, very solidly made.
I really appreciate that I can see, like, hairs on someone's neck. Like, I never thought that I'd be so happy.
Yeah, or like
to see
pores
that
on someone's skin.
Yeah, like, they're human too. They have black heads. Yes, I have those. Okay, I'm really happy Pixar's making these realistic things. Like, yes, they have hair. It makes me so happy for some reason. I really don't know why.
Now they don't have to make like every movie about fish and cars and other things because they
hairless things.
They could actually make a semi-realistic looking human.
Well, and then this is a relatively easy level of detail to add, but it's so important. The fact that even clean objects still have a little bit of like dust or grime or fingerprints or whatever on them to kind of give them that more like, it's clean, but it's not like that clean. I think even at the very end of the movie where, the Space Rangers have their brand new suits and they're gleaming and whatever, all that, there's still like little, and I might be wrong about this, my memory of that.
No, choose to believe. Choose to believe.
I'm going to choose to believe that I saw a little bit of scuffing, a little bit of paint chipping on some of the pieces.
Ah.
When it's like, that's really good attention to detail. Because otherwise, if you don't have that, it looks completely like plastic.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like, oh, that's armor.
Because if you actually used it in real life, like you would scuff it up pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
I just imagine a bunch of animators in a row on with a bunch of computers, and this annoying boss in the background, like, add a scuff, add a fingerprint, add a hair on the neck. He's just being like adding more detail because nobody thinks you need lots of people to put input into these things,
Yeah, I remember there was a story from when one of the animators was working on Monsters Incorporated, the first one, and I remember they brought up there was this one scene that had like 100 CD disc what are the cases? And he was like, I made cover art for every single one of those. And you only see like 15 of them. And it's like that attention to detail where it's like, I'm going to add in detail, even though 90% of people won't tell. 99% of people won't tell.
That's the above and beyond. You can tell that DreamWorks was just trying to churn out its stuff as fast as they could. You watch the old Ice Age?
Yeah, Ice Age, which I believe was made by Blue Sky and not DreamWorks.
Okay, well, same difference.
Shrek? Was Shrek DreamWorks?
Yeah, that was DreamWorks.
Okay. Shrek, but the thing is, Shrek was like the answer to... Shrek was not really about the animation.
No,
it was more about the middle finger to Disney.
No, but that Shrek was supposed to be like this joke poop story and then if people were working on like the Egypt story about Moses, that animated, it wasn't 3D animation, and people wanted to work on that, and if you got in trouble with that, they'd send you to Shrek.
Yeah.
But Shrek blew up way bigger than that, the Moses movie. Was it Egypt something?
Prince of Egypt.
Prince of Egypt, yeah.
Yeah, it is incredible because it was like so cynical, and it was obviously trying to be like just a very cynical portrayal of like Disney. Mm-hmm. And there was like obvious like times that they were like making fun of them. Yeah. And then it turned into this whole thing that has like 4 movies. And
if I had visual examples, I could talk about how some parts of it were not greatly made, but at the same time, there were technological limits at the time. So I can let some of them slide.
I can see a lot of that, though. Yeah. Like in the first one.
My point is that I think with Shrek, the story is more about the characters and the dialogue than actually the animation.
Yeah.
As opposed to where Pixar, it's about everything. They have the whole package. ideally,
I will say,
in their best form.
As far as bringing an animator on board, this is oddly a kind of boring movie to talk about because it's so good. Where I feel like, let's take a movie like Multiverse of Madness. That one, I could seriously look at the CGI and go, that one's a bit flawed. There's some issues right here. I can kind of talk about that. I can nitpick. I can kind of bring up, like, they kind of went with this technique most likely, and that led to that result. Whereas with this one, it's like, no, it's just really excellent. There's nothing
That's
really
just
to
like
talk about.
the only thing you can critique is the movie, the story itself, and not really the animation.
which is the best compliment that you can give to an animation is that, like, there's nothing to talk about with the animation because it's that good. That's the best compliment you could give it.
Here's a question: why are people so drawn to animation? Like, now that we have real, what we've seen is that we had animation 2D, and then we got CGI, but we got the 3D animation thing with Toy Story. Yeah. Those were roughly around the same time. CGI was like crazy. It blew up when it first came out, and now people are like kind of getting like very disenfranchised with the idea of CGI, and they really like, unless you watch Marvel, like, people generally don't want to go watch movies that are just all full of like CGI scenes. They can tell, and they don't like it even though it looks realistic. Like, it's almost like because it looks realistic, people don't like it. But then animation is like its own completely animation, like no live action elements, like, because CGI is kind of like combining.
And basically, your question is basically like, why does that still have?
No, it has way more appeal to people, I think, than.
Well, fun fact: the use of the word appeal is one of the 12 principles of animation. It has to be appealing, otherwise you fail.
Do you know all 12?
You got spacing. You got what is that one called? I'm already getting stuck.
Appeal?
Well, that's number 12.
Oh, that's the 12. Okay. Best for last,
anyway, there's 12, and appeal is one of them.
Yeah. If we really want, let's see here. So you got spacing, you got ease in / ease out. Some call that slow in, slow out. Then you've also got arcs. Arcs is one of the more important ones, in my opinion, alongside exaggeration and anticipation. There's also staging, which is kind of more of a general film thing. And then, as far as the other vitally important ones, in my opinion, I would say last one would probably be, I forget the name of the principle, but the idea is that if you're animating a character, it looks like it actually has balance,
Okay, yeah.
Because that's actually a pretty easy thing to forget of, like, where is the center of mass for this character? Does this pose actually make sense, physically speaking?
Do you think subconsciously people are like, somebody had to do this, and it was really complicated, and that's part of what... I mean...
Oh, also, I forgot squash and stretch. That one's also vitally important. And move on.
Also, there's a sort of a childish wonder, I think, to animation too, because they tend to be aimed more at kids, but like, because of the way they've done the stories and made the animation so appealing, it's like it pulls in, or at least the best ones pull in like everybody.
Like Sausage Party pulled in adults. This is a terrible movie.
I never want to watch that movie.
I've never seen it, but you should watch it. I'm just joking.
No, thank you.
I'm just joking.
There's sort of a list of animated movies I never want to watch. There's Sausage Party, and then there's the Emoji Movie.
We're doing the Emoji Movie for our 100th
I think the Angry Birds 2 is on that list. So is the next Minions movie.
No.
We're watching Minions 2.
Minions 2 we're watching, and we're wearing suits.
Baby Boss.
Oh yeah, Boss Baby. That one's also on the list.
Oh, Boss Baby was
No, I was talking
awful.
about what the Minions call Gru. Oh. That's what they call him in the second movie.
Boss Baby was legitimately like the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. It was so bad.
I think that list wraps up most of the animated movies I don't want to watch.
The Emoji Movie was... Ow, I just hit my head. The Emoji Movie is actually pretty good.
I find that seriously doubtful.
No! It's good. It's good.
Which means 2 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
It was my favorite animated movie this year. 3 stars.
I don't know why people hate it so much. Like, why can't emojis have a movie? That's kind of rude.
I remember the trailer came out and the poop emoji was in it. That was so funny.
Well, that was the only funny part of the movie. So I hope you liked it.
They gave it away in the trailer. hope it was good. Yeah, well, the thing about like Doctor Strange, I think, with the animation style, briefly touching on this, is because I didn't realize this until after I watched The Evil Dead. But like Sam Raimi's influence on the movie was actually like pretty significant in terms of the like stylistic choices. But I'm not really sure it worked. Like I get the idea that they were going for.
Between stylistic choice and CGI quality.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to get into this. This might prevent me from working at some of these studios later on. They'll never find this episode.
I doubt they're going to find
Ben and I are going to blow up, you know. One day.
Plus, you sound so you say that as if like you were being held like
we're gonna get we're gonna get a $1 million investor one day. We're gonna blow up. We just need to find some blackmail on him.
Gotcha. Well, that's
they'll buy us a studio. They'll set up video recording. They'll buy us a producer.
Okay.
Pay a producer.
I have bought you a producer. Here you go. Yeah. It is in your possession now. I
will say, with regards to Multiverse of Madness, and I don't want to stay on here too long because this is supposedly a Lightyear episode.
Yeah,
but you know, this is a tangent.
Everybody knows movie vaults. It's sort of a loose definition. You know, you got to talk about everything.
You're gonna go through in the end and realize we spent more time talking about anything but Lightyear.
Which might speak to how uninteresting Lightyear is, because every time we start talking about it, we're like, this is getting really boring. We have to make it more engaging for the listener.
But one fairly constant thing is CGI environment work, I think, has gotten very good. So where even I can say it's like for a Marvel movie, that was pretty weak CGI, but the environments were still very stellar. It all has to do with character stuff for the most part. And it's always the most and I say character, it could be a person, it could be a broomstick that's moving in a characteristic way. Any sort of character is always going to be the hardest thing to do because there's so much you got to nail with that. But environments, CGI artists have gotten so superb at environments that it's like, even in like mediocre CGI, it's like, yeah, that passes, that works.
Ever seen Blade Runner 2049?
I have not yet, and that's on my watch list.
And it's very good environments, I will say.
You better push it up there. Not like up your list.
Okay. Maybe I'll watch it tomorrow. I'll see if I've got some microwave popcorn at the home pantry, you know?
Get a blade with you. You gotta hold a blade and watch
and
Blade
you gotta run with it. Yeah. Oh.
Never mind. We don't endorse running with blades. We endorse walking with blades peacefully. Like a civilized person.
I too love sprinting with knives.
Okay. My last two topics of discussion, we'll hit on them pretty quickly because I think that this next one has been we've talked about too much.
The last however long it's been has been just a total blur for me. How long have we been doing this?
Well, let's see.
Now that the listener is looking down at their phone, they are looking and they're seeing that we have been recording for 47 minutes and 23, 24. Anyway,
we should do an episode where we just count the
we're just like,
seconds.
Second one, second two.
You see that's borderline a ripoff of some of Mr. Beast's early stuff, though.
I think this is this gets into the self-referentialism because I was like speaking on behalf of the view, or like I was talking through.
Yeah, but now you're talking about it. That's okay.
No. Now he's self-referentializing the self.
I'll get into this.
My words. I am stumbling so much. I'm so sorry.
This happens all the time to me on the podcast where I'll start and then I start describing my description and I can't stop doing it. It's like I'm
doing it right now.
I like fall into a pit of always.
I'm sorry. My mind is just going to that one clip way back when of Biden tripping up the stairs.
Why?
I don't know, but just the idea of like Ben's tripping but he's continuing on anyway. He's keeping on going, man.
So anyway, I just thought that this was a good time to note that self-referentialism has been overdone in movies. But does that really fit? Ben. And so Lightyear is like, you got the movie and it's like not a spin-off, but it's like referencing the first movie. And it's like nobody really asked for it, but they like had to milk the cow, the cash cow. Yeah. Then they get those big udders and squeeze just super hard to get the last set out of.
You guys don't want to know what he's doing right now.
So, audience at home, imagine this. I'm not.
No, you're right. This is like a Solo, a Star Wars story,
right? Which I never watched.
Yeah, it's taking the cool character, the Space Ranger guy, and putting him in a Solo story. Solo.
Solo.
Please leave.
This is my studio. I bought it. Now Jonathan's just intimately staring at me. We have become more intimate through eye contact.
I think it has more to do with the fact that you just seem to avoid eye contact a little bit.
As he shifts his eye contact over to me. Oh my goodness.
I have a problem. I know.
So I can't look at anyone in the eyes for more than 3.5 seconds.
Sometimes when I consciously think about it, I like try to see how long I can stare at somebody in the eyes before they like turn away.
It's not long
because it's
for me.
like sort of a power move if you can pull it off.
It's a power move.
Well, yeah, because you're making them look away. So
It's like
I'm
walking
still looking
through the hallway and looking forward, and everybody
like
moves
sometimes
for
I'll
you.
be driving and I'll look at everybody as they pass me going the other direction. I'll just like make a point. Just stare
Just
at
give
them.
them a nice good old death stare.
It's not like a nod in my head. It's just like
They're like, all right, kids, please duck.
I don't know why. I think it's just sort of the novelty of like seeing whether you can get a reaction out of it or like whether anybody notices. That's
I don't know.
Just kind of a interesting thing. I like observing people in social settings, and seeing how they react. Social settings like I'm isolated in one car and they're isolated in another car.
It's the only social setting Ben has.
You hear that at home, folks? According to Ben, driving on the highway is a social setting.
I mean, you're around so many people. Like,
Hey.
I can't imagine a more social setting.
I mean, people in those wagons going across the Oregon Trail,
Oregon Trail.
they had to keep eye contact.
So, what do you guys think of the state of Pixar?
I said this before the podcast, but we talk about Pixar a lot. We always get back to it because we're always going to watch their movies until we quit. So, I mean, that's how everything is. You always do something until you quit. But I think Pixar and Marvel, that's kind of what we've said, has a terminal diagnosis. And every time it's just getting closer and closer to the date, which is unfortunate. But, everybody has their time. Everybody dies. We're all going to die.
I think the thing with Pixar is I think it's slowly becoming that studio where it's like, it's slowly stooping closer and closer to mediocrity. And then every once in a while they have that movie where it's like, Pixar's back at it again. It's like, Coco was that for me, where it's like, I wasn't a big fan of a lot of the movies preceding or following it, but it's like, Coco is a fantastic movie.
I was a big fan of Soul.
Yeah, that as well. Where it's like,
Soul felt
if we're being honest, like they're kind of at a downhill slope, but every once in a while, if you think about it as like a graph, it spikes way
It's
up.
sort of like the movie vault listening. Like, it's going down, but every once in a while it'll spike way up.
Yeah.
That's actually true. That's actually how
There's like no explanation for it.
There's no common thread, y'all.
There was a day this past week that we got 22 listens in one day.
Really?
I have no idea why. And it was like one play of each episode. So somebody was just going through and playing like
long road trip maybe.
22
hour
episodes.
road
That's like 20 a whole day.
Someone has a crush.
Well, either that or this person has a trucking job and therefore is on the road for 20 some odd hours.
If you're this person
and it's just like, I need something to listen to because otherwise the road is too monotonous and I don't care what it is.
It's either the road or Ben and Zach. I don't know what to choose.
Frankly, Ben and Zach, marginally better.
Sometimes I just stare at the yellow lines.
I find myself slowly veering to the left.
I'd rather just stare at the road than listen to these two guys talk.
Hey, for any trucker out there, thank you for your trucking. Yeah, your service.
Yeah, because I wouldn't get my meatballs or anything,
or we're literally
or my gabagool,
or I mean like.
Ben wouldn't get his gabagool, guys. Thank you.
Yes,
gabagool.
The gabagool in my gobbledygook.
I'm so confused, but yeah.
It's supposed to be an Italian thing, but I pretty much butchered it.
No, thank you, for Oreos and for crackers and cheese. Truckers, you guys have the most dangerous job. Trucking.
Cheers. Yeah. Cheers.
Here's to you.
Cheese, yeah, Gatorade and
this episode
iPhones.
is dedicated to truckers everywhere.
Yeah, and people.
Not a sponsor.
No, I mean, if there's a trucking business just called trucks,